So, welcome back. Tonight we're going to do a practice that sort of takes us to another level from what we've been doing so far in the last few weeks. We're going to do a practice called the Earth Descent, in which we extend our awareness beneath our body into the space of the earth. And what we did last week in terms of softening or even seeing through the artificial boundaries of the body, between the back of the body and the ground, that was preparation for this. Before we get into it, I just want to make a note about these body-based practices that we're doing, and something you might be noticing every time during the second half of the evening when we sit up and engage the practice in a sitting posture. I've never pointed it out in the last 4 weeks, but I'm pointing it out now that especially for those of you who've tried sitting meditation in the past, there is this natural ability that's strengthened or allowed when we sit to be present in the very moment that we're in. That there's much less being hooked into future thinking or thinking about being somewhere else in the present moment, or even dwelling on the past. And maybe it's not 100% when you're doing the sitting posture, but you might notice that there's a sense of stillness and sense of presence. That the more we are present within our body or in the space that we explore, the more we let go of the tension that we feel also. That our mind feels so happy to just be here. Sometimes you may have even experienced a sense of joy or happiness, just a nice, profound to just be here. I'm mentioning this because as you go along with your practice, here or anywhere else, and when sitting meditation becomes more and more a central aspect of your practice, the very first obstacle is just being present in the moment. You might have an instruction to follow the breath or to be present with a certain part of your body, and if you go right into it without this foundation, you might realize, I'm never actually in the present moment. I'm fighting the past and the future. Just being here is really hard. So I'm mentioning this, that something you might notice during the sitting portions of these practices, that there's much less struggle, that you are naturally abiding just here. And when you do move off into other times of the past and future or other locations, there's a little bit of pain, actually, of mental pain. You might just feel that the amount of energy it takes to just leave the present moment. And then when you feel that, we can naturally just let it go. We just let go of that hook that takes us into some other time. So we see that this whole process is not a matter of forcing ourselves into a present moment or forcing ourselves into an experience. Everything we do is about letting go. Letting go of our attachments to the future or the past. Letting go of wanting to be somewhere else. Letting go of our resistance. And the more we just let go, let go, let go, our mind is naturally inclined to just be here. 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 Like an old dog just resting in front of the fireplace. It's tired. It's been a few years. And just to get up and go outside to use the bathroom is, his hips are sore. He'd rather just stay. And the mind is like that, but we don't know it. And we discover that in practice. So just start to notice that, especially during the sitting portions, how it's just so wonderful to just let our mind rest. And it kind of has to work to go and be entertained somewhere else, right? And tonight's practice will definitely help us with that some more. The laying down portion that we're going to do tonight is going to have two parts. One is where we do a breath exchange with the ground. We don't go in very deeply. And then the second portion will actually start to descend deeper and deeper. And it's okay to use your imagination as much as it's useful to you. And I'll throw in some images that you might like to use to learn the practice. But I'll just describe the first one now while we're sitting up. And this one is, many of you have heard this from me already, but if you imagine like a large mama bear laying on her back on the ground, and she's taking deep breaths in and out, so you can imagine her tummy rising and falling. And on her tummy is her baby bear, and the baby bear is resting on its back on her tummy. And they're breathing together, inhaling and exhaling, so that when he breathes in, she's breathing in, and he feels her tummy pressing into his back, like her energy is coming into him. And when he breathes out, he softens, and his mom's tummy softens downward, and he feels a slight sinking. So in unison, they're rising and falling with the inhale and the exhale. I like it. It's a sweet image for me, and there's a sense of tenderness there. And I find that when we just naturally include that sense of warmth and gentleness in these practices, everything becomes so much easier because we're tuning into our actual nature. So that's just a visualization that might be helpful when we do this first practice now. So let's take a moment to lay down on our backs, and you can put something under your knees if you like. If you'd like to turn off those lights in the back, with this practice tonight, darkness might be a little helpful. So I'm going to make it dim now, and when we sit, I might make it all the way dark. But of course, we'll begin as usual with the preliminaries of just arriving in the room, arriving into this practice space, and arriving in our practice body. Take a few deep breaths in and out and soften the neck and the lower back. Feeling any tension in your hips, letting the legs roll in or roll out. Sometimes we force our hands to be open, but maybe letting them be closed is more relaxing. So see what they need. Softening the jaw, softening the shoulders, letting go of the expression on your face. Feeling gravity take your cheeks and your forehead back. And then releasing the muscles in the pelvic floor. Releasing any clenching in the groin or the anal region. Feeling how that softens and allows more sensitivity in the thighs and in the lower back and the abdomen. It's wonderful if one does this regularly because the body knows how to relax. Given the opportunity, in a moment it softens. It knows what's happening now. And then just check your mind and also the state of your heart. What is your emotional tone? And then just for a few moments, we'll breathe into the lower belly, like we did last week. Breathing in, letting your awareness move into the space in the lower belly. If you notice any tension or holding on the outside, on the boundaries, or inside, just soften with the exhale. Let them go. And then we'll just bring our attention now to the heart center. You can start on the perimeter around the rib cage and then work your way in, tuning in to the open experience in the center of the chest. And now exploring the region of the throat center. So bring our mind there, breathing into it. Again, checking your jaw, softening the jaw and the shoulders, softening the neck. And breathing into the heart center, and on the exhale, relaxing and resting in that space there. And now let's let our awareness spread back down from the throat, down through the chest to the lower belly, so that we're connected with the entire space in our body, particularly toward the back of the body, into that area we thought there was a boundary, a border. Just touch into that spacious quality throughout the torso and the throat. Breathing into all of it on the inhale. Letting your mind fall into that space on the exhale. And now we're going to come more specifically now to the back boundary, the back of the body where it's resting on the ground. Just breathe into that region, and we know there's no solid fixed boundary, but there is an energetic layer there. There is an energy of movement. Maybe it's like a soft breeze, or like static, the way they used to have on televisions, white static. Sort of a experience. Just tune into that. This is a subtle conversation between the body and the earth's energy. There's a constant exchange, and where the body is resting on the earth, that's where it's happening. So breathe into the back of the body, and on the exhale, just feel that. Bring your mind into that energy flow. And now we're going to just practice bringing in this energy further into the body. So what we do is, having tuned in to that layer of energy, on the in-breath, just open up the core of your body. In a sense, you're making it receptive or absorbent. So as you breathe in, imagine that this energy is moving from beneath you up into your body. And it can be very gradual, maybe just a centimeter, then another centimeter. And then on the next breath, you start back at the boundary and inhale again, bringing more into your body. So it's coming up into you on the inhale. So we'll just do that for a few breaths. And you'll naturally feel your limbs and your head participating in this practice, and that's great. The back of your skull and your arms and your legs can also receive on the in-breath. And now let's practice releasing down beneath us. So we shift how we relate to the energy. On the in-breath, just feel the space in your body and the energy in your body. And as you exhale, feel yourself opening downward and releasing downward. And you almost travel with the energy just beneath you into the ground. So on the inhale, you start present in your body. On the exhale, there's a downward release through the back. On the next inhale, you're back in your body. Exhaling, just releasing down. It's as simple as just letting go completely with every exhale. And now we're going to combine these two steps into the mama bear, baby bear visualization. So as you inhale now, you can draw up the energy from the earth, and it's coming up from just beneath you, beneath that boundary. So breathing in, you feel it coming up into you. You feel the energy rising toward your core. And on the exhale, you feel yourself sinking down and releasing that energy down. And after a while, it's almost like the earth itself is rising up into you. You feel its support coming up and holding you up. And on the exhale, you're relaxing and sinking down. And the earth itself might also be softening beneath you and receiving your energy into it. So there's an exchange, a little bit like rescue breathing. But this is quite enjoyable and peaceful, and there's a tender quality to connecting with the earth this way. She receives everything we need to let go of, and she sends into us everything we need to replenish and renew. So let's do this for a few breaths. You might notice that if thoughts come up, when you exhale and release downward, they just have nothing to hold on to. There's really not much you left for the thoughts to attach to. So you can imagine the thoughts themselves just falling through the space beneath you. They look for a reference point, but when you let go completely, there's no reference point, so they just collapse and sink beneath you into the space of the earth. So if you get caught up in thinking, just remember that, breathe out, and let go, and they fall apart on their own. You don't have to do anything, but relax. And now we're going to move into the earth descent practice, which is just an extension of what we're doing already. And all we do is on each exhale, let your sense of you, your sense of awareness move down or release downward. Whatever part is left after you let go and open, just descend beneath your body a little bit, maybe a few inches. And on the inhale, just remain there. Just let yourself fall apart further in that space. And then on the next exhale, let yourself move further down into the space beneath you. Breathing in, you're just present in that space. You might notice the quality there. Is it solid? Is it open and empty? Is there anything there that you can identify? Or you can just relax in that state you discover. But then on the next exhale, you descend even further. Just moving down, down, down with every exhale. And just see how far down you can go. Don't measure, don't compare, but just keep descending. And you might notice that if you stiffen up or start thinking, it freezes the process, or you're back up here in your physical body, very self-identified. And if that happens, just let go of the thoughts again. Just breathe out, let go completely, and start descending again. You could think of yourself as a scuba diver, sinking into the blackness of the ocean, or an astronaut on a spacewalk, going out into deep space, leaving the space shuttle, out into the darkness, into the open, vast darkness. Something like that. But eventually let go of any imagery, any thoughts and ideas, and just let go and keep sinking, letting go of yourself in that space. Down, down, down. Anytime the process stops or you feel stuck again, check your body, check your jaw and the pelvic floor, check any other areas of tension, and then release them the way you know how. And then see how that opens up that space again. And just start moving downward after releasing that tension. When we descend very deeply into the space of the earth, it's like we're leaving behind a corpse, but it's like jello. Most, if not all, of the physical tension is completely released the deeper we go. Even for those of you who are living with pain, with constant chronic pain, it becomes soft pain, or pain without thoughts about the pain. So there's more space for the pain to be, but the suffering of the thinking mind just isn't there. So instead of being hard, ordinary pain, it becomes soft experience of the body. And then there's no warfare against the pain. Okay, you can continue if you like, but we'll take a bathroom break now. And just take your time, and when everyone's back, we'll move into sitting posture and continue at that point. that? Only if you want to. Okay. There's no one over there in that bathroom, right? Okay. So now to do this earth descent from the sitting posture, we really want to make sure that our physical posture is relaxed but stable. And I'm sure you've all been working on your posture and know what works for you. I say this because as we let our mind move down into the space of the earth, we want to allow for the constant release, the physical release in the body, because as muscular tension arises, we see that there's a relationship between muscular tension and thought activity or mental activity. Tension in one creates disturbance in the other, or creation in the other. But as we go into the space of the earth, our mind naturally opens and releases, and it's in a state of letting go. And so we want to put our body in a state where it can physically let go as much as possible yet remain upright. So we're not straining to sit up, and our head is balanced on our shoulders, so we're not pulling the muscles behind the neck or in between the shoulder blades. And we start by bringing our awareness to the perineum, which is basically where we ended up last week. So bring your awareness there. Soften the pelvic floor. And we're also breathing again in a way so that the tummy is really soft and expanding on the inhale. So we're soft all over. Breathing into the perineum on the exhale, resting our attention there. As we breathe into it, bringing prana into it, we're also feeling the energetic quality that is there, breath after breath. And we see too how it is actually open space at the same time. There's the experience of energy there and also of openness. And then when you're ready, we start to use every exhale as an opportunity to descend beneath the body, beneath the perineum, like that space in the perineum is expanding downward, and our awareness is moving down with it. So we're just exhaling, moving down, down, down. On the inhale, we remain down below, and on the next exhale, we drop down even further. And just do it at whatever pace seems to work for you. And it's not so much about distance, but about the idea of softening and releasing downward. And again, if thoughts come up or you get tied up in conceptual thinking, soften your body and let it all go so that that mental activity falls to pieces, just falls through the space in the ground, falls down through the earth. Nothing to hang on to. So we'll just be like this, just a constant descending and opening and releasing. And see that your mind is relaxed. There's a sense of enjoyment even, and peace. To help with this, I'm going to turn off this light, so we'll be in mostly darkness. Is that okay, or is anyone okay? And I'll turn it back on after I ring the bell at the end of the night. Just a couple of extra notes that, especially in the beginning, we might have periods where this seems like a very enjoyable practice and we come into a deep space and there's this profound letting go and our body is feeling very supple. And then suddenly we're lost in thought and our body is tense and we can't get down there no matter how hard we try. And what's happening is that our body it's opening up in stages. You know, if we could just in one sit let it all go, we'd all be Buddhas right now, right? And it's normal part of the process that sometimes we'll have a peaceful sit and sometimes a lot will come up and it seems like nothing is happening, like we're not actually practicing at all. And that's a very worthwhile part of the practice. We have to make room equally for both experiences. It's as if I thought it was a bat. It's as if during those sits that seem challenging, in that time we're putting in a lot of work, we're opening up and we're experiencing what we've been holding on to all our life. And then the gift or the fruition is maybe down the road there's a sit where we are completely open, completely in the depths of the earth. And we can enjoy that for a while, but of course we can't hang on to it, and eventually our body shows us more that we need to let go of. So it's a back and forth thing, and we shouldn't feel deterred or disappointed when sits seem difficult. It's natural and normal part of opening up. Especially when our external life gets difficult. I had a thought during this practice that a very profound time to do this is when your external life is falling apart. Maybe you come home from a funeral, or you just lost your job, or you just lost your lover, or you're depressed. Those are gateways for letting go. We just come to this practice and we have nothing left to hold on to anyway. We just let go, and we find out that we can let go deeper than we ever could before. And within that openness, there's this profundity of our experience that we love, that we long for, that we've always longed for. We discover this aspect of life that is normally hidden, and we always think that happiness is through experiencing with the five senses, that kind of tasting life like that. But then this experience of letting go, to feel that we have to let go of what our body normally experiences. We're letting go of our sense perceptions in a way and coming into something that's more profound and a million times more satisfying. So just some notes to keep in mind in the future with this practice and with all practice. So okay, let's see you next time.